So in part one, we talked a little bit about the blue label E105 and went over its specifications and took a look at the exterior of it and its design and all the ports they have. Now we're going to open the laptop up and we're going to take a look at some of the inside, and we're also going to start up the Vista operating system and take a look at some of the features and items that Toshiba has in store there. So we will open this up. Let me kind of jostle this around a little bit. Okay. Now inside, obviously we have our backlit keyboard right here, and just to the right of that is the touch-sensitive media control keys for playing your media and stuff like that, and your power button's right above that. Now, again, something else I noticed with the design, there's a lot of space up here. It kind of makes you wonder why the little speakers they put down here are not up here, like you would also find on most notebooks. Still, that was their design, and I'm not exactly understand why they did that, but again, like I say, they just did that. So, and let's see, below the backlit keyboard is our touchpad, and it's flush with the top of the casing. It's not recessed or anything like that. And they built the fusion finish into it, so it kind of has a textured feeling when you move your finger across it. And you've got your mouse buttons in between there, and again, like the N10J I reviewed a while back, the buttons on this are also a little loud. I don't know if that would bother anyone. I'm not akin to being annoyed by button noise or fan noise on these computers, but if someone does mind about that, they might want to pay attention to that. In the middle is the Fingerprint Reader, and I'll talk about that a little bit more when Windows starts, because I found something a little interesting with this that's quite a bit different from the other fingerprint readers on computers I've used. So we'll just wait till that comes with Windows to talk about that. And there is our 14.1-inch display, and we have our webcam right here. I'm not sure about the resolution. I didn't really get any specification on that, but I'll probably add a little annotation later on that'll say what that is. And we have a single microphone to the left, so apparently it doesn't have dual stereo mics on here. It just has monophone or mono audio for that. So, anyway, let's go back to the bottom and we'll start the computer up. And let's see, let's turn off the lights so you can get a look at the keyboard. Turn that on. Our status lights, here's our touch sensitive media controls lit up, and our backlit keyboard turns on right by itself. Now the keyboard is at present set in the BIOS to always turn on, and it can either stay on, or you can set it to turn on only when you hit a key and then turn off after a short while. The Sony Vaio UMPC that I looked at a while back was set up like that with its keyboard. It would turn on when you hit a key and then go off after a certain amount of time. And that was the only way you could set it. Sometimes I kind of want it to be always on like this, but they didn't have the configuration option for that. Now you might have heard a small audio distortion in there. The Realtek HD audio equalizer doesn't load up on the Windows startup, so you always get that. And I should also mention, if you ever want to turn the backlit keyboard off if you don't need it, if you're in a brightly lit room or anything like that, just hit Function and Z, and that will turn the backlight off. When you want to turn it back on, just do the same thing again, Function and Z. Now we're in Windows now at the login screen. Now there's three icons there. I have one for entering my regular Windows password, one for the fingerprint reader, and then I've got one for Toshiba's facial recognition. So that can use the webcam and look at my face and compare it to a saved image it has, and can log me into Windows with that. Now, it doesn't log me into web pages with that. The Fingerprint Reader can't. So we'll go ahead and use the Fingerprint Reader, run across that, and log in with that. I gotta do it again. I guess it'll work better with my other finger. That is one of the things about the Fingerprint Reader I noticed. It can be a little difficult to enroll the fingerprints for some reason. I don't know why, it's just a little difficult with that. I'll wait for it to fully boot. The one thing is, they use an authentic fingerprint sensor in this computer, and that requires using the TrueSuite Fingerprint Manager. And the fingerprint software that I've used on other computers was either made by Verisoft or Digital Persona. This is neither one of those. And the software in comparison to those two are kind of crummy. And people that have used the M700s with that software have been noticing a lot of problems. And in fact, the software version that was on here when I restored it only allowed me to log into Windows with it. I could not log into web pages with the Fingerprint Reader, and yet it's supposed to have a password bank function to do that. And so I went out to the Toshiba website and downloaded the updated version. The version that it had was 2.1, the updated one was 2.5. I went ahead and put that on, and it solved that problem. So now that's working normally as it should be. So we're fully loaded here, and I've connected up to a Wi-Fi network. I've got their config free, which is Toshiba's wireless application, running in the sidebar there. And it shows the line that indicates that I've connected to the network here. And like always, I'll go to the Vista Experience Index, because usually that can give some numbers to the performance. And I'll already tell you that lowest number on here is the graphics, because I told you it's the Intel GMA 4500M HD graphics. So that's where the hang-up is on it. Of course, I think the last time I checked this, it may not have done a rating. I may need to re-rate the system. It may not have the numbers in there. But I do know that the lowest one was some graphics on it. Okay. Now, the system needs to be re-rated, because it doesn't have any rates there. But the Vista score was 3.8, I believe. Or less. And 3.8 being the graphics, gaming graphics. Processor was 5.4, the memory was 5.9, hard disk I think was a 5.0, and like I said, the gaming graphics was 3.8, and the desktop graphics was probably a 4.2. So that's pretty much what I remember the last time I had a rating done. I'm going to have to do that again here. That was with the old system before I restored it with the DVD, so I've got to redo that rating on here. Let's see, we still got about 1 minute left. What can be done in a minute? Now let's see. Not much, obviously. Oh, I guess I should mention this. This has hard disk drive protection. There's a sensor in the computer, an accelerometer that monitors the hard drive. So if it ever encounters a bump, it would lock the hard drive heads. In fact, there's a 3D viewer for it right there. So if I tilt the laptop, that will move too, because that indicates that it's sensing the acceleration. And if the laptop should get hit, oh, come on. There you go. See, it stops the flatter there. So it locks the hard drive head. So it prevents any damage if it should fall or receive any sudden shocks. So that pretty much is the Toshiba E105.